The next section in the West region that we are learning about is the economy of the West region. Now, as we have learned, the West region is a very unique and broad region of the United States, and that's no different with the economy. With the West having so many different rainforests and trees and just large sums of area, it's allowed to produce a lot of different vegetables, fruits, different products, and meat as well. The location of the West is a lot of the states are on the Pacific Ocean, which means it's a huge producer of fish and fishing because of the Pacific Ocean. Also, because it's on the Pacific Ocean, it allows for us to travel our goods from the Pacific and can easily get across the world to places such as China and other parts of Asia. The reason that fishing is so good in Alaska and other places in the West is because it's in a wide open ocean, which allows for many fish to be caught and many wildlife to be grown in that area. Alaska also has cooler temperatures, which makes it ideal living conditions for fish such as salmon, halibut, and other fish, which we often catch and then ship across the world as well as other places in the United States. Another big part of the economy is that Washington is a leading agricultural state. And the reason they're a leading agricultural state is because they have diverse climates, which means it rains a lot there, but when it's not raining, they have very beautiful weather, but it's not too hot, which makes it ideal living conditions for different fruits, such as the ones listed like cherries, apples, raspberries, because they are able to get plenty of rain and natural rain from the water that the rain brings down, as well as a lot of natural sunlight and good heat that's coming into them. Another reason that Washington State is very good with the agriculture industry is because it has a large scale irrigation, and a lot of the land and soil is very fertile for planting different crops. Another thing that we see in the West with the economy is Idaho, and Idaho produces about 1/3 of all potatoes grown in the United States. So if you've ever eaten a French fry, potato chips, it's probably coming from Idaho. And the reason that potatoes are grown in Idaho is because the Idaho soil and environment provides nearly perfect growing conditions for potatoes. It has rich volcanic soil in Idaho, which is very ideally suited for potatoes. And potatoes seem to grow better in a light soil, which is almost like a volcanic ash, because it has a rich supply of minerals, and these minerals are necessary for potatoes to be able to grow. So the nutrients are naturally found in the soil in Idaho, and this allows the potatoes to grow naturally, fruitfully, and become all tasty and delicious for us to eat. Another thing we see in Alaska, or not Alaska, but the West region in general, is a lot of trade. Like we stated before, the Pacific Ocean is touching a lot of these western region states, and because of this, they're able to trade and move a lot of products to and from the Pacific Ocean, which is an easy transportation to get across the world, like places like Asia and Europe, which can be good for us with the economy for trading and buying goods. This allows for transportation to be cheap because we don't have to transport it around the world or across the United States by land. Instead, we can put a bunch of products on a boat and ship it across to Asia, which can reduce costs and also provide to a lot of people and families around the world. Another thing that's known in the West region is that California is known for growing grapes. And the reason that California is known for growing grapes is because they have they have different areas that have warmer climates, which seems to grow larger and juicier fruits in places like Southern California, while the smaller fruits are more tart and acidic, and this is found in Northern California. Both of these have been proven to have ideal and good living conditions for these grapes to grow, and that's why we see lots of wineries as well in different places across California. Another reason that California is ideal climates is because they have distinct seasons. For example, in Minnesota, we see our seasons kind of overlap. Sometimes in March, it might feel like 60s in the spring, while the next day it might feel like it's about 20 degrees and snowing like it's winter. Same thing this summer. Some days it might be 100 degrees, and some days it might be about 60. So these conditions vary level, or these climate levels in places in the Midwest, whereas California, they usually have pretty distinct seasons. So in the winter, you're going to get pretty mild, but not too cold temperatures, where the spring and the summer, it's going to heat up, but it's not going to be too hot, like places like Arizona or Florida. And there's not a lot of humidity, which makes it good for these grapes and other things such as dairy products to grow. Another reason why California is so good at growing grapes and dairy products is because they get a good amount of rainfall throughout the year, but it comes at the right time, which allows for farmers and other people growing these grapes to plan accordingly to how they want to make it. Another thing that's big in the economy of the West region is that it has lots of open area, like in Idaho and other places, which makes it easy for wildlife like cattle, horses, and hogs to be raised. Timber, like we talked about before with natural resources, timber is also a huge part to the economy because we can use timber for many different things like construction, building houses, building furniture, and many other things that we use on a daily basis. And having all these wildflowers and trees around allows us to use the timber to um, for another part of the economy. So the West has lots of different variety of um, economy that produces to the economy, which means which allows it to have a good set of economy, and not only that, but it has a wide variety of economies, so they're not just known for one thing. Another thing that they have is a lot of ranchers, which helps with the timber and cattle distribution. Another important thing about the economy in the West region is that there are a lot of large companies. One company who I actually have a friend who works there is called Boeing, which is where airplanes are made. If you've ever heard of the Boeing 737, which is a giant plane, if you've ever been on a plane, it's one of the biggest ones, and, which is located in Seattle, and that is where Boeing and the airplanes are made. So that is a huge income for the economy in the West region. And another large business that is located in Seattle, Washington is Microsoft. And if you've ever played Xbox or purchased an Xbox game such as Minecraft or any of those games, it's come from Seattle, Washington and Microsoft. So the next time you want to buy a game on Xbox or want to get an Xbox, you can tell your mom or dad that it'll help the economy in Washington, in the West region, because it's based in Seattle, Washington. Another big help to the economy is Silicon Valley, which is in Northern California. And in Silicon Valley, there's lots of major technology companies that are found there, which can be as simple as computer chips that go into a computer and store memory and other things, to the actual building of a computer, to little things such as headphones and USBs and stuff like that. Another huge thing for the economy is Southern California and Los Angeles. And many of you know of Los Angeles with the TV stars and movies, and not only TV and movies have a big help for the economy, but it's also really important that they have a lot of famous people there, because these people have lots of money and buy real estate and housing, which chips into the economy and helps the economy grow. Los Angeles also has four major sporting teams, which bring in lots of money and lots of publicity, which brings into another point of the economy, which is tourism. Because the West is such a beautiful and vast piece of land and region in the United States, it's a huge hotbed from tourism. You can be in Washington viewing different national parks and forests, and engaging in the beautiful tourism of the mountains, to being in places such as California, where you're enjoying the West Coast beaches and seeing things like Hollywood and other things like that. So having a wide variety of things helps the economy grow. For example, the Midwest is known for livestock and produce and corn and stuff like that, which is kind of the central bed of how the economy is raised in the Midwest, where the West has a wide variety of things, ranging from fish in Alaska and places like that to fruit being grown in Washington to the rich soils in Idaho, which allows for potatoes to grow. And the economy also helps with huge companies such as Boeing and Microsoft in Seattle for making planes and technology, to places like Silicon Valley and Los Angeles, which are a huge hotbed for celebrities and big technology things, as well as sporting events and tourism. So all of these different complexes allow for the economy to be rich and allows for the well-being of the West to be kept up because they have the money and finances and responsibility to make this area look good. So hopefully this helps get you a little more background of the economy of the West region. It's a very interesting region and one that I highly suggest visiting. I've been to Los Angeles and other places like that, and I'd love to go back again.